Hey guys, how's it going? The Bike Father here. It's been a while since I've created one of these videos, but guess what? Today is a special day because I actually got a new bike. For those who've been watching my previous videos, you'll know I had a Sport Glide. That was my very first Harley, and funny enough, about 6 months ago I won a Pan America. So yeah, I've traded those in for this brand new Lowrider ST. I'm really excited. I got this on Tuesday, so I managed to, that was basically a few days ago, I managed to do about 200-300 miles. So yeah, I've gathered some thoughts, so in this quick video I'll try to keep it as quick as possible. I'll give you basically my very first impressions, and in the future I will be posting all sorts of things like more in detail reviews, upgrades, whatever else. Obviously, if you are interested in that sort of content, hit that like button, subscribe or follow depending where you're watching this video. So I'm gonna find a place to stop just to show you around. I haven't done much to the bike, to be honest. It's brand new, it's completely stock, but yeah, just to sort of show you this beauty, and then we'll jump on a quick ride and I'll give you my impressions. Right, let's see. Oh, it's quite busy. Oh, there is a spot at the end. Just gonna go straight there. Right, this is as good as any. Right, let's stop here. Right, so as I was saying, the bike is pretty much stock. The only thing I've done is basically changed the seat, just to allow for a passenger. Obviously everything else that comes with that, foot pegs, yeah, that's really pretty much it. But even stock, it's a very good looking bike. I love it. You know, obviously you have this big fairing at the front, which is pretty good. Again, I'll come back to this in a second, but look at this beauty. It's absolutely amazing. I absolutely love it. It rides really well. Again, comfort wise, with this comes with the mids instead of with my previous Sport Glide I had the forwards. It's not too bad, but again, I'll talk about this in more details in a second. We have the 117 engine, which is bigger than the Sport Glide, the 107. But yeah, overall it rides really well. It's a really good looking bike. Let's start her up and you'll see how she sounds. I must say, it's very quiet, you know. I mean, it's pretty much what you expect from stock bikes, because they need to be Euro 5 compliant and that sort of stuff. It's still got that nice rumble from these M8 engines. It's just that the fact that you can barely hear it, basically. Let's jump on. Here we go. Let's jump on and I'll tell you everything else. So, the very first thing with this bike, obviously you get the bigger engine, the 117. I think in the Softail line it's pretty much the only bike, as far as I can tell, correct me if I'm wrong, with the 117 engine. So Sport Glide, the Sport Glide I had was sort of, I feel it was sort of left behind slightly, because it's still using the 107. Nothing wrong with it, to be honest, but especially when you're riding two up, you know, and me coming from sports bike, I do like to ride the bike a bit more aggressively. So yeah, I think this is going to be perfect. It feels more punchier. I haven't had a chance to properly test it because I'm still in the braking period. But yeah, this is one of the things that attracted me to this bike. Pretty much on paper, it's better than the Sport Glide, but at the same time, obviously, it does have a higher price tag. I mean, you're looking at what, 17 or 18 grand, the Sport Glide, compared to 21 or 22 the Lowrider ST. But yeah, it has a bigger engine, it has the big fairing at the front, and other things like dual brake disc in front. So obviously with the bigger engine, this is more of a performance bike, so to speak, for more aggressive riding, whilst the Sport Glide is something a bit more, relaxed. You have straight away comes with forwards controls, whilst this one comes with mids. So yeah, it's basically two different styles of riding, but ultimately this is the good thing about Harley, is that you can customize them however you want. Now, speaking about the mid controls, obviously with Sport Glide I had forwards. I really like forward controls. The mids, to be honest, they are actually better than I expected. Now I did notice, one change with the stock seat. I did feel a little bit more cramped, whilst with this Sundowner, and the only reason I know it's not the best looking seat, but it's very, very comfortable. I had it on the Sport Glide, so I just I brought that with me. And obviously it's very, very important. I need a seat that is very, very comfortable for the passenger, because I regularly take my wife for rides. So yeah, but with the Sundowner, once I fitted it, I did notice that the mids feel a lot better. So the thing is, when you sit like this and you ride and you don't have to do anything, it feels completely fine. For how long, I have no idea. Obviously it's if you're going to be riding the whole day, you're probably going to want some highway pegs or some forward controls. But just for like the occasional ride, an hour or two, I think the mids are completely fine. And from what I've heard, the mids really suit this bike for this more aggressive riding. The problem is when you have to change gears and stuff like that, because your foot is pretty much at a maximum angle, so to speak, in relation to your leg. You have to try to force it to raise it even higher in order to change gears, and that's basically where it's getting a bit uncomfortable. So I came with an open mind. I thought, you know what, I'll give it a go, even though I did say I prefer forwards from my previous Sport Glide. But now, after riding it for about 200 miles, all I can say is that it's not uncomfortable, it's fine, and some people might prefer the mids, but it's also not comfortable. And to be honest, I'm gonna try to build this bike for comfort. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna change a lot of stuff on it, but yes, most likely I will put forwards in a while, once the budget allows. Everything costs money when it comes to bikes. So yeah, but even mids, like I said, it's fine. It's just that personally I prefer to have forward controls. That's definitely going to improve the comfort level. Next up, with the Lowrider ST, you have this big windscreen. I absolutely love it. One of the reasons I bought the Sport Glide was the fact that it's sort of like a hybrid. You can take off the fairing in the front. You can take off the saddlebags. To be honest, I never did. So yeah, obviously this is a fixed fairing. You can't take it off, but you don't have to, and it provides better wind protection than the Sport Glide. Now, when I'm cruising, obviously this does depend on your height. I'm 175, that's in centimeters. American measures, I have no idea, 5'9", I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. And when you're riding with about 40-50 miles an hour, it's completely fine. When you start getting to 60-70, I can feel that with the stock windscreen, all the wind from the fairing is being deflected to pretty much the top of my helmet. Now, it's not too bad. For those who have ever test rode the 2023 and the older Street Glide models, I test rode one of those last year, and oh my gosh, it was bad, right? So literally my head was like shaking in every single direction. After half an hour I started getting a headache. With this, it's not like that. You can just feel a bit of pressure. So what that means is, obviously, I just need a slightly taller windscreen. haven't looked too much into it, so if you guys already have a lowrider ST, if you do have any suggestions, by all means put them in the comments below and I'll have a look. But as I said, obviously this does depend from person to person. If you're taller, you probably you will have to get a windscreen that suits you. So if you're taller, you're probably going to need a taller one. If you're shorter, even this might be perfect. I've done about 200 miles and it hasn't been too bad. I don't ride on the motorway or on the highway that much. I prefer the smaller roads, so it's been fine. It's not a priority to me, but eventually once I sort out everything else, maybe the exhaust, the forward controls, perhaps I might look at the windscreen as well. Right, so we've talked about engine, we've talked about the comfort itself, the fact that you have mid controls, we've talked about windscreen, handlebars. So again, it's more of a comparison with the Sport Glide I had. I really like the taller handlebars. I wouldn't say they're, at least not for me, they're not shoulder height. You do lean a little bit, and from what I've seen on various forums, people do typically like to rise them a little bit or pull them sort of towards you. Again, it's fine. For me, it's a lot better than the Sport Glide, so it's not a priority. Maybe in the future I might raise them just a little bit so they're sort of like shoulder height, and then maybe like an inch or two towards me. That way it puts less pressure on my back. So far I haven't really had any problems. I'm really enjoying it. What else? I mean, very similar with the Sport Glide. The bike comes equipped with you know, cruise control. It's not something that I use a lot, but yeah, you get that. Now this small dash screen, I know a lot of people are not a big fan of it, but again, in comparison to the Sport Glide I had, that one was right in the tank, right? And I always had to look down, right, just to obviously, you know, check your speed and that sort of stuff. With this one, I don't have to. I can just, my head is always straight forward, and I can just quickly glance at the Speedo without changing the position of my head. So yeah, I really like that. For those who don't know, there is over here at the bottom, there's like a USB socket, so you can easily plug in your phone charger. I'm using a quad lock, a wireless charger quad lock, so it's always plugged in, so I can just, you know, put it there, twist it in. Oh, I see. Thank you. It's funny that the car warned me the police is here, yet the biker didn't say anything. But yeah, that's pretty much it. As I mentioned before, I'm still within the braking period. I didn't really get the chance to really push the bike, but so far, based on everything I see, everything I feel, I absolutely love it. I have absolutely no regrets. So there will be more videos in the future, proper reviews, upgrades, that sort of stuff. I also have various other things on my Instagram and TikTok channel, so hit that like button, subscribe, follow, and I will see you in the next video.